So, like I said, Yaku is an anime, cyberpunk, MMO slash metaverse. Really, honestly, we're so many games bundled in one. So with our race mode out, it'll be something, like Forza combined with Mario Kart, like an adult version. Our combat, I would say, is most similar to Black Desert Online, mixed with Devil May Cry, mixed with Neo 2. If anyone's played that game, huge fan of that. So that's the type of fluid combat, combos, different type of weapons mixed with abilities. That's the type of gameplay at the moment. But once we every week we're going to be adding new weapons, new abilities, new combos. So it's really going to get a lot more dynamic. This is literally the base version. So if you like what you see, it's only going to get better. Yeah, why you should jump into Yaku. I mean, if you're a fan of MMO games, open world games, if you're a fan of digital experiences, concerts in the metaverse, connecting through a digital space, Yaku is really the place to be. Ultimately, I think I can't think of any other metaverses that have integrated so many partners, especially large partners, Honda, Toys R Us, Mad Lads, like the list goes on and on. We're really becoming and we're looking to become the premier home of digital experiences across any type of media form, whether it's movies, entertainment, music, gaming, whatever the case may be. We're looking to be the reference for all those things. And, the large companies have seen the value in us. The market is starting to see the value too. So, we might be a little bit ahead of the curve, but that's all right. It's better to be positioned before than try to chase the meta, once it's hot. For the past year, we weren't afraid to go into build mode and, people to doubt us and people to wonder, is Yaku alive? We heard all the FUD, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about shipping a quality product. And so we took a whole year to optimize the back end of our world to, get hierarchy systems for every texture. Make sure we minimize our draw calls, minimize the memory size of every avatar. So now we're able to ship full large worlds. Like I'll just give you an example for our multiplayer PvP mode, the actual playable like fighting area is about 2.2 kilometers by 2 kilometers and fully fleshed out, surrounded by hundreds of buildings with insane detail. And we've been able to do this by really honing in on the optimization process, and almost no one is doing that. The only other company I could say that's doing something similar is Wilder World. And you can see, they've also had a long time before shipping out. It's just because it's a quite a cumbersome process. And now I know that was a bit of a long answer, but I just wanted to make sure people really understood the difficulty and the milestone that Yaku has achieved that really almost no other metaverse or sandbox has achieved. Our Yakushima City is pretty comparable to a GTA map size, and it's extremely detailed. So we'll be having that back up for those who want to jump in, and we have plenty of video around about the world. Now, for the activities and things to do, that was the second major thing when we set out to really build a world that we had to address. How do we fill this sandbox, fill this open world with things to do? Because in other games, I don't want to pick on any, but I'll just give an example. The sandbox, for example, there was only so much to do. And a lot of the time, players were just in there to earn sand. They weren't really in there because it was fun, it was engaging, they had friends in there, and so we kind of took the reverse approach of making sure we kind of build all those functions and the experiences in before we ship out the game to the masses. So the type of activities we have are gameplay modes. There's going to be multiple gameplay modes. Like I said, the PvP team deathmatch for those more Call of Duty type of players. Then we'll have our race mode on boats eventually as well. On our bikes, we'll have our MMO system, and then we're going to have a number of experiences like concerts, art gallery showings, maybe even some movie premieres, large scale promotional events from our Web2 partners. So there's always going to be something to do, and we're looking to hit every demographic gamers, uh, like I mentioned, music enjoyers for concerts. Fortnite has already shown that's extremely successful. We have a partner who, is a large art purveyor. We're looking to have some type of art exhibits and things like that. So there's always going to be something to do for every type of player. And of course, when we add our shopping, that's just, another additional layer. You'll be able to run around and order things directly to your home. So it's like whatever you want to do, there's something for you. Our workshops, each one is dedicated to a specific type of item or type of function in the game. So some of them are self-explanatory, like the garage. That would be for upgrading anything with your bike, for adding customization, small accessories, paint in the future, and skins. We're going to be releasing, so our battle pass just was announced recently, and with our battle pass, you can see things like custom legendary skins and even skins from our partners, like a Gecko skin or a Lad skin, different things like that to kind of tie all the Web3 community back together. And as far as okay, so that's the garage. Our armory is anything related to any stat boosting accessories that your character wears. So like chest plate, leg armor, cybernetic hand attachment. That's where you'll build anything that's related to actually placing on your character and that gives defensive bonuses or the rest. And that's going to be really important, actually, especially depending what class you play. If you play a tankier class, that's going to be something that's really going to be required versus if you play, a faster, lighter class like some of the Shinigami Rogue type of builds. That won't be as important, but that then your priority would probably be the forge. The forge is going to be all about the weapon building. So I know me personally, I love the weapons. I love all the aesthetics of the super fancy swords and the rest. I'm an MMO head. I love that stuff. So that's going to be where I'm spending the priority of my time. That's where you're going to build a whole suite of weapons. And the awesome thing about it is we're looking to integrate melee weapons, old style weapons, super advanced futuristic weapons, energy weapons, guns. Pretty much, if you can dream it, we're gonna have it. And so with the forge, that's gonna be the primary method of crafting your weapons. You'll be able to get certain weapon drops from bosses and things like that, but it's gonna be a lot more difficult. You're gonna be grinding. If anyone's played WoW and you grinded for Thunder Fury, the crafting is going to be the primary element to really earn the weapons. You can earn it, like I said, through boss drops, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. And the Ledger Lab is going to really contain all the consumable items. So we're going to have different consumable items like health boosting potions and potions that like overdrive your character where their powers increase for a short duration, maybe invisibility potions, and a bunch of other consumables that are actually really important to all the other aspects of the game. So like we have something called our Say Sweet batteries that will charge a device which allows you to passively collect Yaku while you're playing. And you'll need to either wait for your free batteries to recharge, or you'll have to craft new batteries or purchase them from Ledger Lab Crafter. And so ultimately, we see players probably wanting to stock up on one of each, or that's what guilds are for. You have your guild mates, your clan mates to kind of cover the gaps in your workshop. But really, each workshop has its purpose, and we made sure that we didn't want to release 10 different workshops because then there's just not demand for all those items. So we wanted to make sure that if you pick up a workshop, there's going to be a clientele base for you. There's an important reason why your workshop is needed. So the workshops actually have a level attached. So if you've played MMOs that have like crafting levels, which increase your ability to add bonuses, increase your success rate, that's kind of the system that the workshops will have. So you'll have players who have like base level crafting stations that is just for basic items, and then you'll have other players who will be able to dedicate their entire game focus to that, and they'll be max level crafters. They'll have the highest chances on the rules to add the most bonuses to craft one of one ascended items even. So the higher your level, the better the craft, the more success rate on your craft, and the more recipes that'll be opened up to you. So really, I think those who get an early start on the workshop system and level up their craft, it could be pretty lucrative. I would say we're just about finishing up our alpha stage. Really, there's no end for an MMO type of game like ours, a metaverse like ours. We're always going to be adding more experiences, features, integrating more storefronts. Like just in the past couple of weeks, we've integrated Mad Lads, D Gods, Punks. So, there's never going to be really an end to the game. But as far as like our MVP, I would say our MVP is with the release of the combat, that's like half of it. The other half would be the racing, and both of those should be completed within the next very short amount of time, probably a few months. And that includes the race mode, full fleshed out for that leaderboard system, all those things. Really, it takes a lot more. We have the base gameplay developed, but really what takes the longest for multiplayer games is replicating all the, effects for all the clients and all those things is really what takes the longest. But the base gameplay for every mode is essentially already been created. So it's just a matter of, making sure we stay on time with our pipeline, which is, like I mentioned, combat mode, team deathmatch will be out in about 2 weeks. And then after that, we're going to focus on the crafting, which is, one of the main play to earn features for us. And then comes the race mode, then the rest of the MMO features. And once we get to about that point, I would say we've shipped pretty much everything that we promised when we initially, set out with the project, which is extremely exciting for us. Everything after that is just like super alpha. That's when we start going into the console builds, mobile builds for certain gameplay modes, and all the super big things. So it's a really exciting time for us. We're really close to that point where we can say we shipped out pretty much a AAA MMO. I would say definitely before the end of this year, we'll be at that point where you can consider us really a AAA MMO. So the Yaku token will be necessary for every single craft that you do with your workshop. And the higher level the craft, the more legendary the craft, the more bonuses, etc., that you place on the item, it's going to be more expensive to craft. Just like in real life, using better materials or things like that is going to have a bit more of a price tag to it. So every craft is going to require you to use Yaku. Higher level crafts will require more. And it's kind of a great feedback loop. So if you look at games like Heist, they have a system similar. You spend your Nana or whatever the case may be, Kiwi, to upgrade your character, sometimes to send them out on missions, things like that. And you have a gamified chance to either, get wrecked, get a larger haul. So that's kind of how the same utility that Kiwi plays in the heist, that's kind of what Yaku Token plays in the mission system and in the crafting. So it's kind of gamified. You're taking a risk. And if anyone's ever played games like Black Desert, I keep coming back to it, but there's roles when you're upgrading your item. There's roles, and you have to pay in their currency, pearls, if I'm not mistaken. And so you roll on the item, and it's possible that you don't upgrade the item. It's possible that you upgrade it even higher than you expected. So that's where that kind of fun aspect to it, where I don't want to say it's gambling. It's definitely not what we're going for, but it's definitely a gamified fun experience that am I gonna win? Am I gonna lose my token? What's going to happen? And it just provides an additional sync for the strength and health of the token. Our next partnership is going to be a really major one, really huge integration. That'll be coming probably within the next week or 2 weeks, guys. So just stay tuned. That's the only alpha I can give at the moment, but it's going to be big.